think you guys are properly warmed up and ready to laugh, right? When I first started the Hayes Has Humor webpage, by the way, promotion, Hayes Has Humor has a Facebook page, so if you haven't liked it yet, like it. So, but when I first opened it up, there was a guy that messaged me asking to offer his talents, and I mean, I said no, but I mean, he showed up anyway, and he set up a camera, so I guess I've got to give him a little bit of time and everything like that. But I do want to open up an open mic here in Hayes at some point in time. If we get enough people interested in it, I want to open up an open mic and get local talent a chance to showcase. And so, for the first open mic, here's a guy from Russell, Kansas. His name is Sheldon Schween.
Good evening, Hayes, Kansas. How are we doing tonight? Are we ready to laugh? Yeah. Okay, good. We've got some great talent from Kansas City coming out tonight. And I think they're doing some real good jobs, but, you know, it's awfully nice to get this rain, hasn't it been? I mean, for good Lord, we've been putting up with monster winds for the longest time. And, you know, it used to be that the wind would blow like hell, and we'd get a storm. Put up with the wind, get some relief. And here in the last couple months, it's just been put up with the wind, get jack shit. And finally, we get some rain. And we only got quite a bit of rain, and I'll guarantee you here, come January, a couple months, we're all going to be going, the shit are these? Oh yeah, mosquitoes. But as Jeff introduced me, my name is Sheldon, and quite frankly, I've never met too many Sheldons in my lifetime before. The first time I ever did meet another Sheldon was during Christmas at church. My dad and me and Mom and my brother Scott were sitting in the pews, and this couple from out of town were playing with their baby. And they go, oh, Sheldon's doing this, Sheldon's doing that. And my dad reaches up and says, well, how old is he? And the mother looks back and goes, well, she's 6 months old. And my dad goes, well, my Sheldon's 12 and he's a boy. Which is, being named Sheldon is the entire reason why I hate the Big Bang. Don't get me wrong, it's a great show. It's written great, shot great, but since I've only met 6 other Sheldons in my entire lifetime, when I'm standing in a crowd of 50 people, someone goes, hey, Sheldon! What? So when I watch The Big Bang Theory, they're like, Sheldon, Sheldon, Sheldon. And I'm like, what? And, you know, I used to love eating at Arby's. Ate at Arby's all the time, but they started this thing where instead of calling out your number, they ask for your name. Well, I'll be sitting, waiting for my food. I'll go, order for Sheldon! And everybody looks around, oh my God, his name's Sheldon, his name's Sheldon. And then I walk forward and they go, it's the tall, skinny guy with glasses. And so, quite frankly, the last couple of times I've eaten at Arby's, when they ask me for my name, I say Doug. And, you know, cheeky old me, I've been thinking about certain ways to spice things up to keep eating at Arby's. I think the next time I eat there and they ask me what my name is, I'm going to say my name is Jesus Christ. And the gal behind the counter will go, yeah, I think it's time for me to take a smoke break. The old manager will get the ticket,
medium fries, extra large vagina sandwich, and then look at the ticket and go, is Jesus Christ here? Yeah, I quite frankly, I pissed my pants laughing as the manager comes up. Jesus Christ, your curly fries are done. And I mean, everyone else sitting around was like, oh my God, this is such a hostile work environment. Managers out cussing all over the place. But in all seriousness, I don't have a lot of time up here, and I would like to finish it out with a story that's near and dear to me. About 3 years ago, I was getting divorced by my pregnant wife. And the way it goes with my job is I run a route. And I run all my stops throughout all the great western Kansas that I could care less to sink off into the ocean. And you run your routes, and on Friday, you balance your checks, you do your inventory, and sometimes you get a transport. Well, there's this guy around Hayes that we all know, and his name is Brian. And he is mentally handicapped and rides a bike everywhere he goes. We all see him. It's hard to miss him. And there was this week when it was just like, my week was terrible. My checks were not balancing. My inventory was screwy-looey, and it was overcast, cloudy, crappy, raining. So, as my Asian customers would say, life had no good at that time. And I'll never forget it. I was at the corner of 8th and Oak. And there was Brian sitting at the stop sign, watching traffic, waiting for it to go by. And like, I pull up and I see him there, and I wave him on by. And when he gets about to the front of my pickup, I go, you know what? There's a guy who got handed a bum life. And when shit gets bad, what does he do? When it's raining, when it's crappy, he puts on a jacket and still keeps going. So I just, like, as bad as my wife was at that point in time, I took him as my biggest life's inspiration to keep going, never give up, and never say no. And he further concreted my belief in him when about 3 months later, they predicted the biggest snowstorm of the century. And living on the farm south of Russell, I had stuff to do in Hayes, and my boss says, you know, just get a motel in Hayes and then fart around and get as much Hayes done as you can. So, okay, naturally I got a motel room and went down to Neighborhood to get drunk. And I was sitting there, and here walked in Brian. Okay, hi bud, how you doing? And the bartender, Corey, said, hey Brian, how'd you get here? There's 3 foot of snow outside. And he said, well, I walked. And I was like, you walked in 3 foot of snow to come hang out with your friends? I wouldn't walk 2 blocks in 3 inches of snow if I smelled some good pussy. And I was like, oh my God, he really taught me that at that point in time, to no matter how bad you think your life is, it can always get better. And just never, ever excuse your life to put yourself down. And when I was talking to him, and you know, he said he walked through 3 foot of snow to get there just to hang out with friends, and I was like, you know what, buddy? If I got a Snapchat of a bald beaver crotch shot saying,
hey buddy, we're so horny, come get me, I would get my phone out and say, hey babe, what size batteries does your vibrator take? Home address or P.O. box? They're forecasting slight to trace inches, so I think that I'm just going to stay in and Pornhub and chill.
Sheldon Schween, everybody, give him a hand.
You blew it!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. My very first stand-up debut, so to speak, I guess. I think it went rather well. The first half went real well, and then I bombed on the second half, and you know, I'm awfully glad I did. You know, once the people quit reacting to what I was saying, it felt like there was a giant hole ripped in my chest, and my heart was just openly bleeding out onto the stage. It was so scared and fearful, it wanted to run away, but my brain was like, hey, this is your first time, and we might be bombing, but you know, it's not going to be the last time either. We've got a long road ahead of us, and we're going to have to learn to deal with this. We can't run away from it. And you know, I must say I went up there rather cocky because I thought that I'd been in plays before and it wasn't going to be any big deal. Well, I really learned that the backdrop to most comedy venues is a brick wall, because when I was in those plays, you had a stage background and you had other people with you, and you had someone else's written material in your head to perform. Whereas when you're up there by yourself, the pressure is just completely on you. And I just kept telling myself, this is fine, just keep going. You can't sell out Madison Square Gardens and not have this experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was the first and definitely not the last.